Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Chess Journey to National Master. This is a very special episode that I'm going to show you guys. It's the last round of the National Tournament of Honor, and this round is extra special because the winner of this game wins the whole tournament and gets to lift the trophy. So, Pedro Marques is my opponent, is 1751 rated, the highest rated player on the tournament. I'm the second highest rated player in the tournament, and I actually played against him earlier in 2023, and the game was a draw. It was a very dynamic and very interesting game. I can leave the game at the end of the video if you guys want to watch it. But yeah, I was looking for a very tough game, but I was super excited. This was literally the most important game of my life um, till then, and yeah, it's just I was super excited, super nervous. I was feeling a plethora of just emotions, and yeah, it was just amazing feeling, honestly. And okay, I had the white pieces, and I started the game with e4. In the other game that I played against him, I went d4. Now I went e4. c5 by my opponent, knight f3, which I don't normally play, but I played it for a specific reason. And I played it because he loves to play this line with a6. And the day before the game, I made a lot of prep against this a6 move by him, and it revolved around playing c3. So playing a delayed Alapin. Here my opponent played d5. I took on d5. He took back with the queen. And yeah, we get this position where it's an Alapin defense, but my opponent played this a6 move, which I don't think it's very useful. I think maybe knight f6 or knight c6 are more useful than this a6 move because I'm not really getting to b5 that quickly. But okay, it's still fine for black. Here I played d4. He played knight c6. I just played the simple bishop e2. I don't really care if he takes on d4 and gives me an isolated pawn. I love playing those positions in the Alapin. He took on d4, so that exactly happened. And now he played e6 here, which is correct. Normally, you want to develop the bishop outside the pawn chain, but here it is way too risky because I have knight c3 after something like um, queen d7 here, for example. d5 is already like crushing, um, and yeah, bishop g4. It's the same thing, honestly. If he plays bishop g4, knight c3 here, even you see this a lot online, like queen h5. But after d5, my opponent is already in big trouble. Like knight e5, for example, queen a4 check, and yeah, it's just GG's. But yeah, my opponent didn't make this mistake. He just played e6, which is correct. Now I play knight c3, attacking the queen, and he played bishop e4. I simply castled here. I don't really care. If he takes on c3, I'm very happy to get the bishop here and also to fix my structure and have a lot of presence in the center. But he played queen a5, which was a move that surprised me a lot. Queen a5, putting extra pressure on c3. Here I thought about a3, but I couldn't really figure out what would happen after this. Apparently, this is close to winning for white after bishop d2, but in the game, I didn't think this was that good. You know, at the end of the day, I am up in development, but I'm down a pawn, and I wasn't really comfortable in going into this position. So I actually just played bishop d2, which is fine as well. Here my opponent surprised me again with queen d8, and it just felt that my opponent was also it felt like my opponent was uncomfortable with this position, and he was like a bit nervous because queen a5, queen d8, it feels like a bit of a waste of time here. But I was like, okay, let's just keep it simple. Let's not try to overthink this. Let's play a3, ask the bishop where it wants to go. Played bishop a5. Here I played b4, gaining more space, kicking the bishop again. He played bishop b6 here, and now I just played the calm bishop e3, defending the d4 pawn. And he played 97. And let's stop here and try to understand what is going on. Here, I thought that I was, I had a very, very good position because my pieces just look better in general, and I'm ahead in development. I'm already castled. This bishop is a monster here on the light squares. It's gonna be a monster. This bishop is super poor here on c8. It's gonna be hard for my opponent to develop it. Uh, b6 is not an option because the bishop is on b6. This bishop is putting pressure on d4, but it's not doing much because this is well defended. My dark square bishop is not that good, but it's still serving a defensive purpose. And these knights can jump to e5 in the future, maybe knight e4 as well. So I was feeling very, very happy with this position. Here after 97 by my opponent, I played bishop d3, which is a little tricky move, just improving the bishop, putting it on the best diagonal. And here there's a trick. My opponent played knight d5, which is a good move. But for those of you wondering, why can't he just take the pawn? So this is a very, you know, um, simple trick here that happens a lot at lower rated games, which is some black players like to take on d4 here because it looks like a free pawn, but after bishop takes on d4, bishop takes on d4, knight takes on d4, and queen takes on d4, it just looks like black just took a pawn and it's just up a pawn. But here there is this very famous trick, bishop b5 check. I give a check. If my opponent takes the bishop, I take the queen, so he can try knight c6 defending the queen, but I still take it on c6 with check. He has to recapture and then I win the queen. Of course, my opponent didn't fall for this, but it's good to know for you guys that are starting out. And okay, after bishop d3, he played knight d5, which makes a lot of sense, trying to trade pieces and blockade this d4 pawn. I took on d5, and I was expecting my opponent to take on d5 with a pawn, and now, okay, he opens his bishop for, a future bishop g4 maybe, or bishop e6, but at least he gets to develop the bishop. But my opponent surprised me completely, and he took with the queen, which I felt like you just had to be wrong. It just smelled super bad, this move, because he's just wasting so much time just moving his queen back and forth, back and forth. And, here I had a long, long think, and I came up with this very beautiful uh, idea with queen c2, sacrificing this pawn on d4 if my opponent is brave enough to take it. Here, my idea was that this d4 pawn is super poisonous. I actually calculated all the lines that involve taking the pawn on d4, and they all lose for black by force. So, yeah, I was happy that this move worked very well. And okay, I'm connecting the rooks. I'm putting this immense pressure on this diagonal, improving my queen. Maybe rook c1 is coming next. Maybe rook d1 is coming next as well. So yeah, this position is just super nice to play for white. And here my opponent thought for a long while, and he ended up taking on d4 with the knight, which loses. But before I show you why it loses, I'll show you why bishop takes on d4 loses. This one is easier to understand why it loses. It loses because I have bishop e4 here, and now my opponent has to move this queen, probably keeping an eye on d4, on the bishop on d4, because it's attacked twice here. So yeah, if my opponent plays like queen d7, for example, here I can just take on c6. uh and yeah, if he plays like queen d8, the same thing. This is with checks, so yeah, he just loses a piece. So yeah, this one is very simple. The main problem is that I have this bishop e4 move and I take the knight with check. So okay, now I want you guys to figure out, why does knight d4 lose here? There's no longer bishop e4 because the queen is hanging, and there's no knight on c6 to take. So I want you guys to pause the video and try to find the combination that wins for white. It's all forcing moves, so there's nothing black can do if white plays correctly. Pause the video and write it down in the comment section down below if you want. For you guys that just want to see what happened in the game, here I played bishop takes on d4, and after bishop takes on d4 here, there is a very, very important and precise move that my opponent missed in his calculation, which is bishop c4. Boom. What a move. This bishop c4 is absolutely stunning, because now I'm attacking the queen. The queen has to move, and it has to keep an eye on the bishop. My opponent here played queen d6, but after queen d6, there's rook a1, pinning this bishop and attacking it twice. And the most important thing, and I calculated all of this before I played queen c2, is that after e5, I can sacrifice my knight. And yeah, it's just completely winning for white, because black's king is still in the center. This bishop is still pinned. Of course, if my opponent takes on e5 with the bishop, I just take the queen. And if my opponent takes here on e5 with the queen, I just play rook e1, and yeah, it's all over. So after knight e5 here, my opponent played queen b6, which it's there's nothing he can do at this point, you know. After he took the pawn on d4, it was already over. But yeah, this I played knight takes on f7, and there's just it's completely busted. I mean, I'm attacking the rook, I'm threatening to play queen e4 check, rook e1 check, and here my opponent resigned, and I won the tournament. I won my first chess tournament, and I was so happy, dude. I never was this happy after a chess game. I just couldn't stop smiling. I was so proud of myself, ending the tournament with this astounding victory, with so many like tactics, good calculation, pawn sacrifices, piece sacrifice, just a brilliant attacking game by me, and just winning the tournament like this just feels extra special. And yeah, this was just amazing. I can't believe that I managed to make this 3-game comeback, and 3 games, the 3 last games I just won, and I made a huge comeback to win the tournament and to claim the trophy. And yeah, I'll show you guys some pictures here on the screen with me holding the trophy and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just extra special. This was literally my favorite game of my chess career, and I will never forget this tournament and this game, especially because yeah, it just meant a lot to me. And I'm very happy for all of you guys that watch and support this journey. I'm sure that I will be able to get a national master someday. But yeah, the thing is that after this tournament, I took a break. I took a long break from chess. I took like a 4-month break from tournaments, and I only played actually one tournament in this year, in 2024. I only played a tournament, so I will start showing you guys that tournament next week. And yeah, it's been tough for me to compete and to play chess tournaments, because I'm working a real job now, and yeah, I just don't have time. I don't have all days yet to use, and I don't know how much I will have in the future. So I don't know what the chess journey to national master future will be. I will try to figure out something, but yeah, the games are gonna be slowing down from now on, unfortunately. But yeah, I will give you guys some updates of what I think that I'll do in the future when it comes to chess tournaments and this journey. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.